So what's going on, guys? I'm BlackOpsAmazing. Welcome back to another video on the channel, where today what I thought we would do is take a look at some of the reviews from, I guess you could say, official reviewers, IGN, Game Rant, Forbes, etc., and see what they're saying about Vanguard Zombies, because we all know what everyone else in the community thinks, whether it be people on Twitter, YouTube, any social media platform where you can express your opinion. We know what the general Call of Duty player thinks about Vanguard Zombies, but what do these official pages think? I actually saw Mr. TLXify giving his opinion on a review that IGN did, so I thought, well, what about all of these other reviewers who we know have very close relationships with Activision, the developers, Treyarch, Sledgehammer, Infinity Ward? Will that sway their opinion? We also know companies are sent products from them. There are conspiracy theories that some of them are paid to give positive reviews. So I thought it'd be an interesting video to see what they are saying about the game, see if it's in line with what the rest of the community think, and also, well, there's not really much else to do. So the 5 big reviewers I want to take a look at are Game Rant, Eurogamer, Charlie Intel, Forbes, and IGN. These are big reviews that will sway people on whether they purchase Vanguard Zombies or not. And so starting out with Game Rant, they titled their review, Call of Duty Vanguard Zombies feels like one step forward, 2 steps back. While there are a few things that Call of Duty Vanguard Zombies does well, there are far more examples of the mode being a letdown. When Call of Duty Vanguard was first revealed, it quickly became apparent that Treyarch was taking a big risk. Alongside entirely new mechanics like the Altar of Covenants, the latest take on zombies moves away from the round-based format completely. Instead, players will constantly be completing objectives as opposed to just surviving, forced to do exactly what the game is telling them to do all of the time. While taking risks is admirable, it has become clear that Zombies fans are not happy about what Call of Duty Vanguard has to offer. A vast majority of comments about the mode have been negative, with loyal players and content creators alike bashing Duran Fang and advising their fellow gamers not to buy the game if they only care about zombies. While there is a chance that Call of Duty Vanguard Zombies improves in the future, the community's reaction is clear. While the new game mode gets some things right, it gets a lot more wrong. Game Rant then gives us 3 big portions on the good stuff, the bad stuff, and the ugly stuff in the game. Just skimming through it because there's a lot to go through here. As for the good, they title it, A Welcome Focus on the Storytelling in COD Zombies. One of the biggest complaints regarding Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War Zombies was just how quiet the operators were. Aside from some generic quips when players picked up a mystery box weapon or get a few rapid kills, the playable characters were silent about all of the craziness going on around them. This broke immersion, and with no conversations between the operators, there was no reason to really care about them whatsoever. That, I think we all totally agree on, that was a big problem in Cold War. In Duran Fang's story though, operators are more talkative. While players still have voices speaking to them as the match progresses, like Cortifex or Von List, the real star of the show is the Dark Ether entities that speak directly to the player's character. Tied to each of the 4 field upgrades, these mysterious characters add a lot of humour and interesting lore as the match progresses. This dialogue between humans and demons is always intriguing, and it has the potential to make things like the upcoming main quest a whole lot more interesting. That I do agree on to a certain extent, although I do think we are still massively missing a set cast. I don't think the playable characters in Vanguard speaking a little bit more, or the artifacts in Vanguard replace them in any way. I don't think they come even close, but you can see what Treyarch tried to do. It could be at the moment just because there's so little content in the game, but right now even the dialogue between us, the characters, and the artifacts isn't really that intriguing to me. Every few rounds we hear the same quotes, so it's actually more annoying, but it is better than what we had in Cold War. But Game Rant carry on by saying, while storytelling is one of the major strengths in Duran Fang, it is worth noting that the framework for the mode is solid. While objectives are not for everyone, most would likely enjoy the concept for the mode a lot more if it was a secondary option like Outbreak as opposed to the only choice. Moving on to what they say about the bad parts, unnecessary changes to the COD Zombies formula. Obviously, the change to a gameplay style that is so different from just surviving is a major problem. While Treyarch could have pleased round-based fans by offering a closed-off version of Shino Numa, that hasn't happened. There is no traditional zombies content whatsoever in Call of Duty Vanguard, with players having no choice but to play the hugely different Duran Fang. While this is a smart one from one point of view, as it funnels all players into the new mode and forces them to give it a chance, this becomes frustrating for those who prefer how things used to be. Zombies has had a round-based approach since its inception, so Call of Duty suddenly leaving that behind has been jarring for many players. Modes like Griffin Outbreak never caused as much frustration as Duran Fang, for the sole reason that there was still normal, round-based content to enjoy alongside them. Stepping away from the type of zombies gameplay that made the mode such a hit is something that nobody was asking for, as fans did not want zombies to change this drastically. Players should always have options, and Call of Duty Vanguard not allowing for that has understandably resulted in controversy. The situation is comparable to what would have happened if a Call of Duty multiplayer had launched without domination, search and destroy, and team deathmatch, only offering brand new modes instead, which actually I didn't think about. That sounds like a pretty good comparison to me. On top of what feels like a complete abandonment of round-based zombies fans, the perk system also feels like an unnecessary change. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War's perk system were a huge hit with players, as tiers could be unlocked at the main menu by spending an in-game currency. This made for permanent RPG-like decisions, but Call of Duty Vanguard's approach sees perks being upgraded every match. While this wouldn't be so bad on its own, the price for upgrades is absurd, especially with the beverages offering fewer benefits than the ones we saw in Black Ops Cold War, with even experienced players being unable to fully upgrade all of their perks in each match. The new upgrade system feels significantly worse, with players spending far more on 5 perks than what they did on 10 in previous zombies modes. That's also something I didn't think about, the fact that if you want to fully upgrade all 5 perks in Vanguard Zombies, you're going to end up spending more essence than what it took to purchase all 10 perks in Black Ops Cold War Zombies. Also combined with the fact that Vanguard Zombies perks just aren't as good as Cold War. I said in my review video, every time you purchase an upgrade to a perk, because the difference is so minuscule, it really doesn't feel worth it, where I'm almost going back to the point in Black Ops 4 Zombies where I felt like I didn't really need to buy the perks anymore. And then the last part of this review, the ugly, missing features that COD Zombies fans love. However, the biggest problem with Duran Fang is not the expensive perks or even the switch away from round-based gameplay. While some Zombies fans may be willing to take a chance on a bold new mode, the problem is that it lacks the polish and the features that fans have come to expect. Players cannot pause their matches like they've been able to in Treyarch's past iterations of Zombies, with that feature not coming until Season 1. I actually still can't believe it's not here. There is no Pack-a-Punch camo, making upgrades feel lackluster since the guns look no different. And the most shocking of all, there is not a single wonder weapon in Duran Fang, with not even a ray gun able to be used by players. Given how much personality wonder weapons like the Crystal Axe have added to their respective maps, Duran Fang feels like it's missing something with no unique weapon for players to strive for. Mystery box hits are less exciting because of this, and players feel significantly weaker than what they have in other Zombies modes. Considering that Duran Fang is comprised of reused multiplayer and campaign assets, a wonder weapon of some kind could have helped the map to stand out and feel more original. This is just the tip of the iceberg though, as the mode is lacking the biggest thing that makes Zombies unique: Easter eggs. While Treyarch has said that Duran Fang's main quest is being saved until Season 1, the bigger problem is the lack of side quests for main players to complete in Call of Duty Vanguard Zombies. There is no Easter egg song to discover, no fun Easter eggs like Forsaken's Ghost or arcade machines, and no wonder weapon upgrade quest. Players have nothing to do apart from completing objectives, which is a genuine problem since it severely limits replayability. While the older Zombies content may have seemed like it was just surviving against waves of the undead, there was so much to do beneath the surface. Sadly, when it comes to Duran Fang, players will see all that it has to offer after a single match. And honestly, I think that's a near perfect review. I think that describes Call of Duty Vanguard Zombies perfectly. Everything that I've been saying, that I've seen the community say, is in here. There's no covering over anything. They don't give it a rating, which would have been interesting, but one page that does is Eurogamer, and they give Vanguard as a whole 3 out of 5. Now this article is to do with the campaign and multiplayer as well. It's titled Call of Duty Vanguard Review, fun filler that won't live long in the memory. Just skipping ahead to the Zombies portion, whilst a lot of this is talking about how you play the game, this person does say, I quite like this new Zombies experience. It's accessible, slick, and fun, but with only 3 different objectives to play, and only 3 AI types, regular zombies, red exploders, and a heavy zombie with a machine gun, it gets repetitive after a while. And this ties into the big problem with Vanguard Zombies. Unfortunately, there is no main quest or traditional round-based mode at launch. There is this big hub area and 3 objectives to play through over and over again, and that's it. Activision promises more is coming, but the next main quest in the current zombie storyline doesn't arrive until after Season 1 ends, which is a shame. It's all a bit flat, isn't it? That's how I describe the majority of my time with Call of Duty Vanguard. So that's Eurogamer's review, a little bit shorter because a lot of it is just speaking on how to play the game. And remember that these reviews are written by one person, so this is just that one person's opinion. It doesn't necessarily mean this represents what everyone thinks about it at Eurogamer, but either way, it's still interesting. This person's approach to the last one is definitely different. I don't think it points out as many things, but he does say yes, even though it's lacking content. He enjoys this Zombies experience. It's accessible, slick, and fun. Let's take a look at what Charlie Intel had to say then. They gave Vanguard Zombies a 4 out of 10, and it's titled COD Vanguard Zombies Review. Empty experience sees series take giant step back. Treyarch has returned to carry on their Zombies adventure in Vanguard, but a worrying lack of content has gotten things off to a bad start. Vanguard Zombies branches the Dark Ether story off into a darker, but sadly not deeper direction. The game's debut map, Duran Fang, is a paltry offering devoid of life and content, getting COD's latest Zombies adventure off to a disappointing start. We should prefix this whole review by saying that we understand Treyarch is battling on multiple fronts when it comes to Call of Duty. They are overseeing the maintenance for Black Ops Cold War. It wasn't long ago that they developed and released the final round-based zombies map for that game, Forsaken, and they've also had to make brand new exciting content for Call of Duty Vanguard. Something had to give, and it appears that Vanguard has taken the fall as the introduction of the new Durham Fang map has come with very little substance to keep hungry zombies players entertained. Basically, again, they just describe how you play the game, but at the end, they ask the question, is it worth playing? And they say, honestly, yes. At least a few games anyway. If you already own Vanguard, then you should have games of zombies with friends to make the experience more enjoyable. There's still some fun to be had after all. We alluded to the Altar of Covenants earlier, and despite it being a transparent RNG system with not much to it, it does change the dynamic of the gameplay, especially as you improve your upgrades using hearts. After the sluggish nature of the first couple of rounds, the intensity does start to amp up with the introduction of the exploding zombies and the minigun wielding elite Sturmkrieger. However, these two types of enemies pretty much cover the special enemy zombie types, and you'll have seen everything by round 5. Perks return in a slightly rejiggled and reshuffled format, with new names and all, and you can work towards upgrading them to level 5, as well as getting any weapon you have to level 3 via the Pack-a-Punch machine. And that's it really. Call of Duty Vanguard Zombies currently feels like a huge step back from everything that Black Ops Cold War achieved. The removal of so many cool systems and features becomes seriously detrimental to Durham Fang's potential and already risks alienating the Zombies fanbase. Potential is the keyword here, as Treyarch's new formula meshes a bit of round-based here and Outbreak there. Sadly, there's nothing to sustain it. So again, I think that's a pretty fair review. Overall, they give it a 4 out of 10. Eurogamer gave it a 3 out of 5. Forbes also did their own review. Theirs is titled Zombies Review, Rinse and Repeat, but still fun. From what they say at the start, I gather they're not a massive zombies fan anyway. They do say the zombies mode really isn't my favourite, but over the last couple of years, they have been drawn in. COD War Zombies had some really fun zombies maps, and I think Vanguard Zombies will be nearly as good, it just isn't there yet. And at the end they say, it's a lot of fun, especially if you have a good team to play with, but it does get repetitive. I'm not too worried about this because Treyarch and Sledgehammer will continue to add more content to it each season, and this is a good place to start, and honestly, a pretty welcoming game mode for newcomers also. It's just very limited. I wouldn't avoid the game because of that, and I would keep your expectations in check. This will get fleshed out over time. So from what I get out of it, this review is written more from a new player's perspective. He says it's a lot of fun if you're playing with a good team, however, still it does get repetitive, but this isn't a worry because, as you'd expect, they're going to add more content to it over time. The point of it eventually becoming as good as Cold War, I don't think so, just because there are things in this game that you can't change over time. For example, the perk system. Treyarch aren't going to change that. Cold War's is infinitely better, but of course you add more content to something over time, it usually improves. That's normally the case anyway with any game. And then the final review, which is from IGN, they gave Vanguard Zombies a 5 out of 10. There's an awful lot to go through here, so if you want to read any of these articles for yourself, I will link them down in the description. But for their final verdict, they said, Call of Duty Vanguard transforms zombies into a run-based, roguelike inspired co-op shooter. There are materials to harvest, a hub world to develop, and the existential fright that all of your progress might be obliterated by one blindside flank. But with just 3 repetitive mission types and no overarching main quest arriving until December, Zombies feels frustratingly empty at the moment. Who could have imagined the Curse of Undeath would be so boring? And the fact that all of these big pages that I've gone through have, I think, done a pretty good job of covering what most people have been saying. And also I don't think they've given the Zombies mode an unrealistic score as well. IGN giving it a 4 out of 10, Eurogamer 3 out of 5, although that was for the whole game. I think that's pretty fair. I'd give it something around that as well, 4. So for the first time in a while, because I've seen a lot of reviews out there where I'm thinking, what are you on about? These to me sound pretty realistic. But let me know your reviews of Vanguard Zombies in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you agree with this? Write down your thoughts, I'd be interested to see what you guys are saying. Drop a like rating if you've enjoyed the video. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest content on the channel, and as always I will see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.